We have breaking news that the Toronto Maple Leafs have signed Connor Dewar to a one-year deal, and this has major implications on what the Leafs need to do before the season starts. And I'm going to break it all down for you guys coming up on this episode of Hat Trick HQ. But before we get into it, gotta say we're on the road for 5,000 subscribers here on the channel before the end of the summer. So if you're not subscribed to the channel and you want to keep up to date on everything that's happening around the Leafs and everything that's happening around the NHL, make sure to go down below and hit that subscribe button. But with that said, let's jump right into the first topic of the video today, which is the Leafs make the perfect signing. And yes, going into the day before this signing happened, the Leafs had two RFAs that they needed to sign, and they got one out of the way with Connor Dewar, as we see here from Mark Masters on Twitter. The Leafs has signed Connor Dewar to a one-year deal worth $1.18 million AAV, and I think this is the perfect number for Connor Dewar. This is a great situation for both sides. Obviously, he's an RFA. He's signing a 1 year next year. If he sees fit to leave Toronto, he can walk in free agency. And on the Leafs side, it's a great contract. You're getting $1.18 million for, a fourth line penalty killer type guy who's only 25 years old and could have a potential, breakout season with the Leafs this year. And it's also great on the Leafs side because they get to avoid arbitration with Connor Dewar. Yes, there's been a lot of talks about maybe he was going to head into arbitration to try to get that number up within, the judicial system of the NHL. But ultimately, Brad Treliving and Connor Dewar and his camp came to a decision to have a one-year deal at $1.18 million, which I think is great for both sides in this situation. Brad Treliving gets that penalty killing, defensive forward for that fourth line. It's lined up with Kempf and Reeves, and then on Dewar's side, he gets his $1+ million for the season. Then if he plays good, he can get a longer term deal either with the Leafs next year or with another team. And I think this is great for both sides. I think this is a perfect signing for the Toronto Maple Leafs because they need a penalty killer on that top unit, and Connor Dewar looked the part when they traded for him at the deadline, and it's great to see him come back for another season and hopefully push in for the Stanley Cup. And we just take a look at Connor Dewar's stats. Last season, between his time in Minnesota and in Toronto, he put up 21 points, and that was with 11 goals and 8 assists. Obviously, he's a guy who's going to put some points up on the board, but he's not going to jump off the page in regards to, scoring or offensive talent. Yes, he's a guy who can put the puck in the back of the net. When the fourth line's out there and they get an opportunity, he's a guy that you're going to be looking at to score the goal. He can also set up people as well. But the big part about Connor Dewar's game, which a lot of you Leafs fans watching this video know, is his defensive side of the game. This guy's naturally a centerman, but when he came with the Leafs, he was playing on that left wing with Kempf and Reeves during his time in the regular season and into the playoffs. And in my opinion, he looked really good in this team when he was playing. You could really notice him out on the ice on every possession. He was, going in for hits. He was, getting takeaways. He's really good defensively while using his stick. And I think that's what the Leafs are getting here. They're getting a guy who, when you send the fourth line out there, he's going to put everything into his shift and try to win those puck battles, and he's very good and successful at that. Because if we just look, last season, he put up over 100 hits between his time in Montreal and Toronto. He's a physical presence. He doesn't mind laying the body, but he's also really gifted at winning those puck battles along the board as well. And his faceoff percentage, it has been around 45, 46 throughout his career. So I think continuing to play him on that left wing is going to be the right option. But if something happens and Kempf gets injured, then Dewar is naturally centerman. You have that guy to slide over in that center position, which opens up a wing spot for somebody maybe in the minors. And I really like this guy. I think that he's going to have a great season with Toronto here, and he's really going to, catch the eye of Leafs fans just from his play defensively. I think we're all going to see a better Connor Dewar than we ever seen, because obviously he's got that $1.18 million now, but now he's trying to prove to the Leafs, trying to prove to every team in the NHL that he's worth getting a long-term deal at more money. And I think we're going to see that side of Connor Dewar come out, and he's going to be a tremendous player for this Toronto Maple Leafs team this year. And Obviously, we've seen some early looks at what the first penalty killing unit is going to look like. A lot of people are speculating that it will be David Kampf and Connor Dewar with McCabe and Tanev in the back, and I really like this penalty killing unit because, like I said over and over again, that Chris Tanev is going to be such a great penalty killer, such a great defensive presence for this Toronto Maple Leafs team. Pairing him up with McCabe, who has been proven to play good on the penalty kill, and now having that same penalty kill that they were testing out last year after the trade deadline with Kampf and Dewar is really going to be good, and these guys are really going to be able to shut down some of the top power plays in the league, in my opinion. I think Dewar is really going to add to this penalty kill and really push those numbers up because he's so good at winning those puck battles, at using his stick, at blocking shots, at laying the hit, and I think this penalty killing unit is really going to be good for the Toronto Maple Leafs this year, and I think Connor Dewar is definitely going to be at the head of that. But if you have to ask me to what I think about this signing, you probably already guess what my opinion is. I really like it. I think this is the perfect number for Connor Dewar. Great for both sides, like I said at the beginning of this segment. And I think that this guy's really going to show out this year. And we might see him slip up and down between the third and fourth line. I think that's where we will see him this season, because right now it's looking like either it's going to be Nick Robertson or Easton Cowan on that third line left wing. So, maybe if those guys are, struggling a little bit or something like that, and Dewar's just being that, guy, that defensive guy on the left wing, he could easily slide up and down throughout this lineup. And I think if they're going up against a team where maybe Craig Berube says, hey, we need a little bit more defense from our forwards, then Dewar is going to be that guy that they're going to call upon, and he's going to be out in those situations where they're trying to stop a team from scoring, because I think that's just the player he is. He's great defensively. I think we're going to see a good season out of him offensively as well. I don't think we're going to see like a 40-point season or anything, but I would definitely see him running it back with, maybe 25 points. He's a great goal scorer when he gets that opportunity, and I think that once he gets he came over at the deadline. He's trying to get settled into this team, and now he is very settled after having that playoff run. Now he has the contract and arbitration thing all out of the way, and he can just focus on getting to camp and getting better and making the opening night roster on the fourth line, which I really think he is going to do. And at 25 years old, this guy's in the prime of his career. I think he's going to have a better season than he did last year, and this is really going to look like a good contract when we get to the middle of the season. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you think about this Connor Dewar signing? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. We're going to get into the second topic here. Short one. What's next on the Leafs to-do list? And yes, that's what I said. The Leafs, at the beginning of this video, I said the Leafs had 2 RFAs going into today, and Connor Dewar is now off the table with the contract signed. But guess who's still left on the table? A guy who's been the talk of the town all summer long. That's Nick Robertson. Nick Robertson at 22 years old. He's still an RFA, and he requested a trade. Brad Living said he's too valuable to give up. A lot of people have been putting their trades forward for what they want to trade Nick Robertson for, but it seems like Brad wants to hold on to this guy, and right now he's an RFA, so he can't sign with another team unless he gets offer sheeted or something like that. But I think that, Robertson, at the end of the day, it's going to be interesting to see what plays out here. If he signs, it could be interesting, because right now, if we just look at the projected cap space of the Toronto Maple Leafs after this signing, they're at about $1.275 million left to sign Nick Robertson. So it's looking like if they sign Robertson, I think we're going to see something similar like the Connor Dewar thing. We're going to see a $1.something million for one season. Then after this season, if Robertson sees fit to leave, he can as a UFA. So it just makes sense for, Brad to sign him back, or if, maybe he wants a bigger deal, they're going to have to make some moves happen here to free up some cap space. It's really going to be interesting to see what happens with this Nick Robertson situation. Is Brad going to say, hey, we want to keep this guy, and he just doesn't want to sign the contract? Then they're going to have to look to move him out, and it's really going to be, he's really going to pick up here over this next little while in Toronto. The whole Nick Robertson saga is definitely going to play out, and I'm really excited for it. I think either way, it's great for Toronto. If they trade him, they're going to get a great asset back. But if they keep him. I think this guy has a tremendous shot and is a tremendous goal scorer. And at 22 years of age, this guy still has such a high ceiling, and I would love to see him in this Leafs lineup. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Robertson. But he's on the to-do list, whether it's a trade, whether it's a signing. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Nick Robertson. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you think about Nick Robertson? Do you think he'll sign for, the same as Connor Dewar? Or do you think he's going to end up getting traded? I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section on that as well. But we're going to get into everybody's favorite topic here, which is comment of the day. And the comment of the day today goes to Cole. Cole says a trade won't happen. Marner will remain a Leaf next season. And I've been saying this. I've been reporting on a lot of trade proposals that people and analysts have been putting forward for Mitch Marner. But me personally, I agree with Cole here. I don't think that Mitch Marner is going to get traded. I think running it back with a new coach, a Stanley Cup winning coach with the players, the core four they have, is definitely a great option. And if he walks for nothing, then, that's $11 million that you have freed up. But I don't know. I'd like to see him stay. I'd like to see Marner hoist the cup with the Toronto Maple Leafs. It seems fitting for that to happen. But I really appreciate the comment, Cole. Showing your support here on the channel means a lot. If you guys enjoyed this one, make sure down below, hit that like button. Helps push these videos out to all the Leafs fans on YouTube. Also, comment on the video. You might feature on the next comment of the day, just like our buddy Cole. And subscribe to the channel. Like I said, we're on the road for 5,000 subscribers before the end of the summer. So if you're not subscribed already, make sure down below and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to check out a video we did on a Mitch Marner trade, it'll be popping up on your screen right now. But as always, I've been your host, KC. We'll catch you in the next one.